Everybody, this is going to be my monthly reads video for August, and I know I'm doing this pretty late. I didn't get around to it the end of August and beginning of December. And then I was thinking about doing one big video for August and September, but then I think the video would be way too long because I have a lot of books. So I'm doing August now. So I just want to get started. So first I thought I'd tell you about a few books I got from my local library in August. One of them was the book Charity Girl by Georgette Heyer. Um, so it's a Regency romance, a historical romance. Georgette Heyer wrote a lot of those. That's kind of what she's famous for. She's called, I believe she's referred to as the Queen of Regency romance. So the story, it's about a young girl whose name's Cherry. She lives with an aunt who treats her pretty awfully, and she doesn't really have any other family to go to. So when the Viscount Dressford meets her at a party, and they meet again later on, he tries to help her, find her family. The story was really, I wasn't too into the story in the first couple of chapters, but, after the first few chapters, the story started to pick up, and I wound up really liking it. Plus, the ending wasn't what I was expecting, so. And, another one, I read the first two books in a series by an author named Philippa Carr, and, these books are actually not what I don't think they're what she's most famous for. She also wrote Gothic romance novels under the pen name Victoria Holt, and she also wrote historical fiction under the name Jean Plady. So as Philippa Carr, she wrote a series of historical Gothic romances. The series is called The Daughters of England. So I read the first two books, The Miracle at St. Bruno's and The Lion Triumphant. So they both take place in England in the 1500s. One of them is during the reign of Henry VIII, and the second is during the reign of Elizabeth I. And they were both really good. They were both good books. I liked the story, and the way the series apparently goes through generations. Not all of the books in the series are in my local library system. The third book is not. So I don't know yet what I'm doing there. And the last one I got from my local library was The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I know this is a really popular book. I've seen it everywhere. So I decided to try reading it and see how good it was. So it is about Achilles. It has to do with the Trojan War. It's about the relationship between him and his friend Patroclus. It's based on the Iliad by Homer, which I've actually never read, but I did like the book. I thought it was good, but to me it felt like it didn't live up to the hype that it's gotten recently. Like maybe it's a little overhyped, but it was good. I mean, I did like it. I just didn't think it was. I don't get all of the hype. Alright, so now, I'm gonna show you some books I actually do have copies of. So, in my July reads, I was talking about the Mary Russell series, and for August, I read Book 7, The Game. In this one, at the beginning of 1924, Holmes and Russell traveled to India to find, a spy named Kimball O'Hara, who, according to the story, was the person who inspired Rudyard Kipling's character Kim. So they wind up going on this whole adventure in India, and the story was really good. I liked it. And then I also read Book 8, Locked Rooms. In this one, from India, Russell and Holmes traveled to California, which was where Russell's family lived before it's mentioned in the first book that Russell's family was in a bad car accident when she was a teenager, and she was the only one who survived, Her parents and her brother were both killed. So this one, we kind of look into Russell's past, her childhood, and her family, while trying to solve. And the question is, was her family actually murdered? Was it not just an accident? And I really enjoyed this. I think this is probably one of the best books in the series. Really excellent. And another series I started reading is actually Crave by Tracy Wolff. So this series, this is the first book. It's about a teenager named Grace Foster. Her parents were just recently killed in a car crash, and she goes to live with her uncle and her cousin, who, her uncle, they live in Alaska. Her uncle runs this fancy school called Katmere Academy, and when Grace goes there, she finds out that this is actually a school for supernatural beings, and she falls in love with Jackson, who is a vampire. And this first book actually reminded me a bit of Twilight. But other than that, I mean, there aren't many. Some of the story reminded me a bit of Twilight. But after this one, there isn't really that much of a similarity. So then I also read books 2 and 3, Crush and Covet, where we go further into Grace's story, and she starts to find out more about herself, because she is from a family of supernatural beings. And I wasn't sure, like, whether or not I was actually gonna like the books, but I actually really enjoyed them. I'm waiting for the 4th book. I thought it was coming out this November, but I just recently saw on Amazon that it's not coming out till February of 2022. So I'll be waiting for that one. Another one that I read is the Liaisons Dangereuses, I think it's pronounced, by Pierre Choderlos de Laclos. This was first published in 1782. So it's about the aristocracy. It's about these two members of the aristocracy, the Vicomte de Valmont and Madame de Merteuil. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but so they end up having, they're two supremely bored aristocrats in the final years before the French Revolution. So Valmont and Madame de Merteuil, they have this bet on whether or not Valmont can seduce Madame de Tourvel, and then de Tourvel, then Madame de Merteuil, she also convinces Valmont to try to seduce young Cécile Volanges. So the story sounded interesting. I mean, at first it kind of interested me, but I don't know, I just became a lot less interested in it as the story went on. I think maybe it just wasn't for me. The last one is a pretty famous one. So this is actually a Barnes and Noble collectible edition. This is The Phantom of the Opera and Other Gothic Tales. So one of the stories in this book is actually, I don't know if you can see it, it's The Castle of Otranto by Horace Walpole. That is actually technically the first Gothic novel, and it was the first novel to be called a Gothic novel, and it's credited as starting the Gothic fiction genre, the Gothic novel. So I decided to read it out of curiosity. So the story actually is pretty good. I liked it. It's short. It's easy to get. It's not hard to get through. I don't know. I just wasn't too big a fan of it myself. But it's been a pretty influential story over the years, so it was interesting to read it. And maybe I'll do a video sometime on my Barnes and Noble collectible editions. I do have some of those. Alright, so that was my reads for August, and at the end of September or beginning of October, I'll be doing my September reads. I'm gonna have a bunch of books. I've been reading more of the Mary Russell series, and I've gotten back to the Poldark series, reading a few more of them. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys then.